Hey everyone, it's Ed with Slow Car Fix. Welcome to the shop. Today I am working on the taillight of my 55 Chevy Belair. It is a long-term project. It's a 55, that's a 4-door that I've turned into a 2-door. This is all aftermarket parts. Nothing fits quite right, nothing's good. The car was hit in this side. And I'm going to show you how I fit this taillight, and you can struggle along with me. So I've spent a lot of time on this side, probably way too long. If you followed me on Facebook or Instagram, you will have seen the posts. This was quite a deal, and it's still not really perfect. It's kind of got a little bit of a gap here. It's a little gap here, and it's a little low on the panel, but I have to remember, and we have to keep in mind that this is obviously going to get filler, and it's going to get primer, and it's going to get paint and clear and all those things. This is also not going to be a show car finish, but we want it to be nice, right? Smooth, straight, relatively. So it's this side I'm pretty happy with. I'm going to use some metal to metal filler, which is what I've got going on over here. And then it's probably going to get some, down in this area, it's probably going to get some fiberglass filler. It's just a skim. And, you know, and then regular filler and all those things. I obviously have to weld in here. There's still tons and tons and tons of work to do. But today, the job is to get this ready to accept the taillight, because first look, it looks okay. You know, it kind of goes in its hole sort of and looks okay. But if you look, it doesn't sit in. It rocks there because this is too shallow. This side's not as bad, but then if I hold it up here, it sticks out at the bottom, and you can see that how much I've had to wedge the car out this way because it was hit and filled in. This is a new lower quarter. This is a new inner piece that goes all the way up to here. Obviously a new tail pan. For those of you that haven't seen my other videos, this car was so rotten that in the middle was gone. So the quarter panels had sagged a couple of inches each side. I had to jack the quarter panels back up, weld in all the structure in the center, and carry on like that. So like this is not a good car. But we're making it better. So we've got to see that deal there. That's not really going to work. So we got to do that. We got to make all this fit, which is fiddly and takes a lot of time. And then ultimately I'll have to make a piece that goes in here, but I'm probably going to have to do what I did on the other side, which is separate this, move this over, and then hammer and dolly and shape all in there to try and get this to fit properly. It was a very long process on that side, and hopefully this side, it already looks a little better, because the other side, I couldn't even, like I got in this far, and it wouldn't go in any further. It was just stuck. So I've got to do that. And then this side has a hole, which I'm fortunate because the other side didn't. This was all rotten. This side has a hole. I've got to put a hole on this side. This side has this strap. So I have to attach that strap to this side, which that's actually, I'm very fortunate to have that, because on the other side, there was none of this. I had to make all that and kind of guess where it went. Now I may have to move this too, just because the car isn't factory and original, but yeah, I've got some playing to do. I can already see, I think this has to come down. So there's going to be a lot of cutting and fitting and cutting and fitting and cutting and fitting. And there's an endless amount of putting the tail light in and out of the panel. All right, so I'll set you up, and I'll set myself up, and we'll get started on it. All right, as always with my videos, this isn't a how-to. This is a struggle through. What I did on the other side was I just took this apart, took the lens out, put the lens aside, and I worked on fitting the housing first. And then once I fit the housing, Then I worried about this this trim, because that's ultimately what you want. And the lens I'll just put aside because the lens isn't that great anyways, but I don't really care because I'm not going to put, it's not going to get show chrome on this thing or anything. So this just comes apart in 3 pieces. There's the ring, which does not fit even close. And then the lens comes out with 2 screws. These are all Phillips screws. I see I got, it's got 2 screws and then 2 screws on the band, but I see one on this band is broke, so I might have to get another housing at some point. I think I've got more anyway. I think I spent probably, I don't know, a good 10 or 12 hours on the other side making this taillight fit. This side is a lot better, so it shouldn't be that bad, but it takes what it takes. And then ultimately I need to take them all back out because obviously I have to paint the car, but I have to clean all this up, and then inside where I weld, I'm going to grind down from the inside and seam seal, and then do it all with that DOM 16 paint. It's like Pour 15, but it's the Dominion Sure Seal version. I like it better. I've done the whole underside of the car with it. I find it's cheaper and it's a little easier to get around here, and it covers better. It's just my opinion. All right, this lens is in a lot of pieces. So this band has a strip screw here, so I'm going to give it a shot to get that out, but if I can't get it out, then I'm just going to leave the band in. Yeah, that's not even worth trying. So it just fastens here, here, and in these corners, and the screws go into those 2 holes up here, 2 holes down here, and they go into those little clips. Show you what they look like. I got these from Bay Ridge's Classic Chevy. I think they come from cars. So it's just these type clips. And they just sit on here. And then the screw goes through here, grabs in. So it actually took me a long time to figure out what goes here. Well, obviously a tail light, but what goes here for the clips and screws, because I didn't have any of it. So, and I'm not that familiar with these cars yet. So what do I got here? Oof. All right, it's not great. Let me show you what I got. All right, so as you can see, it doesn't fit very well. It's in this, it's got too much overlap here, no overlap there. Kind of can move around. See, when I push this in the corners like it's supposed to be, look how much it's out there. The same thing if I push it up tight there, it's out at the bottom. So not ideal. Where to start? I might start by nipping this here at the bottom, because it's pretty clear that this has to come out and everything here has to come down, I think. And then I think I'll do that and go from there. I might take a couple swings at it first just to see what moves around, and it's really just a guessing game. Okay, I'm hopeful that this isn't as bad as the other side. So it looks like when I put screws in it, side to side isn't that bad. This could come out a little bit, but like I said, I have to remember that there's gonna be not a significant amount, but there's gonna be right here, there'll be probably 1/8 of an inch of filler on this seam, and then it's gonna be, you know, a skim up top there. So I can probably pound this out a little bit here because this is a little proud, but I'm fortunate that this side has both screw holes intact. I hammered this down a bunch, obviously way too much, but that's okay because I was trying to move this in the corner and that worked. So I'm gonna have to hammer this back up somehow. I'll get a dolly in behind and just give it a whap up with the dolly. So that there is actually not all that bad until it gets to this giant gap down here. And this here isn't bad either. It's not bad at all. So I think what I'll do is start trying to work this up. This has to go kind of in a little bit, but it'll draw in a bit with the screw. But this here, I have to make all this come up. But when I hammered it, it came out, which is what I wanted. So I have to kind of get it to come up and out this way. So it's a lot of little tapping and screwing around, and so I haven't cut this tack yet in between. I'm not sure if I'll have to. We'll see. And because that was where I had to put it to align this quarter. So, and as I said, you can see the wedge. This was all caved in at the bottom, and then this was all, obviously it was rotten, and it was just full of fiberglass and blankets and whatever the hell else. So I'll keep tinkering. This is one of those things that, like, you gotta have some time, you gotta be in the right mood, you gotta be calm, because I pretty much have to go around this entire car with some attention and try and get each little piece like this to fit properly, and the gaps right, and the panels to line up and all that stuff. Fill in any holes. I've got two antenna holes, one in the front and one in the back. I've got to reshape the bottom of the door. A lot of things like that. I just need to kind of work my way around the car. And then once I'm done working my way around the car, I'm really going to be at the point where I can start doing some filler work on this thing this winter. It's very early December now, and I'm looking forward to doing the majority of the body work on this over the winter.
a given disaster. Speed away from the holy mind. Pride, that's where I never thought it would matter. If I'm gone by now, all my weakness keep on linger on repeat like it will be my favorite song. Oh, I know I should be moving on, but you got me good, you got me good. I keep on driving till it bends, still it feels like I pretend. Keep on driving and driving along the road tonight. Lost my head over my back between the jars and bottle jack. Just me and all the red lights. Keep on driving and driving. In the heat from a hot California, I forgot how you look like in rain. That's why I never thought it would matter. If I'm gone by now, all my weakness keep on linger on repeat like it will be my favorite song. Oh, I know I should be moving on, but you got me good, you got me good. I keep on driving till it bends, still it feels like I pretend. Keep on driving and driving along the road tonight. Lost my head over my back between the jars and bottle jack. Just me and all the red lights. Keep on driving and driving. All the memories just lingers on repeat like it is never gonna stop. I can't help myself from feeling all alone, but you got me good, oh, you got me good.
All right, so I've got, I don't know, a lot of time in it, a lot. I had some lunch, and now I'm just looking at, I think I've got it fitting pretty much as well as I need it to fit. And then I'm gonna cheat a little bit. I've got a couple things I'm gonna do. Might be a little high. Still working on it. That's the moral of the story. But what I need to do is, because right now, so now I've got it where all 4 screws are in. It's pretty good here. There's a little gap here that I'm not really that worried about. It's not bad there. It's a little mangled over here, and this could come out some. And then I have a gap here, obviously. This doesn't really concern me, but this concerns me, this being a bit high. It's not too high. Yeah, it's a bit too high. So I'm going to play with that some more, get it down a little bit if I can. But I need to start putting some metal in here because every time it's one step forward, two steps back. Every time I hammer something, it springs a bit because this still will move. So I'm going to get that in a position where I like it, and then that'll be fine. If I have a little gap on this side, what I might do, and did on the other side, was I double layered. It's kind of cheating, but I layered a strip on top here, welded it both sides, like I cleaned it all up and everything, welded it both sides, ground it over, and built this up with material, with steel. So it's a bit cheating, because if I was a better shaper or less lazy, I would cut this out and make a new piece. But you know, like, I already have like nothing original on the car, so it'd be nice to use something original. I don't know, we'll see. You can see the holes where they had a slide hammer and pulled out the dents when it got smoked. So yeah, and then I'll put on this metal to metal fill, which that just kind of seals up any pinholes or anything. It's an Evercoat product, Evercoat 889, I believe. And it just seals up any pinholes. It's not really a filler as much as like a sealer. So I've used that a bunch here where my welds are, just to seal my welds up. It's aluminized. It's got a metal fibers in it. I showed it on some of my other videos. So I'm trying to, anywhere I have a weld, I'm trying to do that stuff first. And then, you know, then I'll go over it with glass filler in the deep spots, and a skim. Probably most of the quarters on this thing are going to get a skim, because it's just the way it is. It's not bad considering it's just a bunch of stuff pieced together. So I'm going to keep working on this and get welding and doing stuff. I'll make a little strip that goes in here. And yeah, lots of fun. Well, isn't that something? I think I've got it where I like it. I'll just throw all that on the floor. I think I got it where I like it. It needs filler, of course, but I think it's pretty good. I could spend another, I don't know, 10 hours probably and make it absolutely perfect. But it fits. It fits probably better than, or as good as they did when they were new. Not the same shape as when they were new, but probably within the same tolerance. Let me show you where I'm at and what I'm gonna do to finish it off. Okay, so here's the good side. Obviously I still have work to do here. It's unrelated to this project. Well, same project, unrelated to this taillight. If I wanna get super fussy, it's just 1/8 of an inch high here. But obviously I'm gonna have to put a whole bunch of material in here to build this up where this seam was and where this lead, there was lead here from factory. Also, if I want to get super critical, it's a little loose in there. Pretty good all the way across here. I'm okay with that. It's got a little bit of a whoopty here, but that's, you know, that's about 1/8. And the same thing here. I did notice there's a little spot here that I got to put a bit of weld and clean up. And then here it's kind of tight. So I can still adjust it. Like when I take the screws out of the what is this thing? Housing. The housing. When I take the screws out of the housing, you can still move it a little bit and get a little bit of adjustment out of it. So when it comes time for final filler and stuff, I'm going to put this all in again. This is, I guess, as much time as I spent on this. This is rough. And then I'll fill it in with filler and primer and all those good things. You can see there's metal here now where there once wasn't. I just cut a little piece of 18 gauge and cut and tack and cut and tack and cut and tacked and just kind of made it fit, which is fine. It's all good. Now I have a mess to clean up. Yeah, so then I've got to continue with stuff like that. I've got to, you know, do these seams. all that stuff. But when you sand, like when you put this is that metal to metal filler, and you can see it's sparkly, it's got metal in it. When it's cleaned up, this has some on it here. Like you can't really tell. This has none, and this has some. You know, and then obviously this stuff here. So like I said, every seam that I've welded is going to get that metal to metal filler, because it just, any chance, I'm MIG welding, right? I'm not TIG welding it. So there's going to be little tiny bits of porosity and little bits of pinholes or whatever. And by using this metal filler, it seals up any chance of moisture getting back in. And then everywhere that I can access on the backside, I clean, wire wheel, wire brush, spray with like an epoxy kind of weld through primer kind of thing. It's just some stuff I have. And then I use the seam sealer, the brush on seam sealer. I really like that stuff. So I've been using that pretty liberally. So that's what I'll do. So I have stuff to do. I have to replace the bottom of this door pretty much all the way across. That's a good project over the Christmas holidays. Do that door and do the, been procrastinating from doing the inner structures. See there, you can see I've got that all seam sealed over there, right? Everywhere that there's a weld, there's a seam seal. And there will be, you know, once I finish, I gotta do the toe board in here. Once I finish up in here, I'm gonna seam seal the heck out of this whole car. I'll paint this new floor. This is, believe it or not, new floor. Yeah, and it'll all look good. You can see I've got that's all painted with that, when I replace the inner wheel wells, that's all painted with that rocker guard and the DOM 16 stuff. And yeah, I got to finish wire brushing the inside of here, cleaning it up, and I'll do the same before I go and put in inner fenders. And then I'll do that, and then I'll do everything, and then I'll clean this engine up and put this in, and yeah, just another couple thousand hours, and I don't know, lots of money. But I'm having fun. So I'm pretty satisfied with that for most of a day's work. It came out not as good as the other side, but it also didn't take as long as the other side, or I didn't spend as much time as I did on the other side. So that's all right. I think it's going to be good. If you like this video, stick around, because there's going to be more. There's lots of metal work to do left on this car, but it's really kind of the finicky stuff. I've done all the big bulk replacements now. I have the toe board and the inner quarter structures, and the rest is pretty much finicky little things. So stick with me, and we'll carry on through this project. Thanks for watching.